So Death of Dementia, Mike Wentling from Familiar Surroundings is nice enough to join me on a video call here, and I wanted to have him talk about his company. Mike, thanks for doing this call with me. Could you tell us a little bit about what Familiar Surroundings has to offer people who are dealing with, loved ones with dementia and stuff like that?
Yeah, certainly. We are a home care company. So basically, what we do is we send a home care worker out to the home. We're not a facility. We do it in home, and we send people out that take care of to assist with non-medical needs of our clients. So you mentioned dementia. So specifically for our clients that have some cognitive decline, we help with supervision. We help with companionship. My caregivers that I would send to a dementia client have training in dealing with those type of people. So I have lots of different caregivers that do lots of different things. But specifically for my cognitive decline patients, I have caregivers that are specially trained to go out and assist them. And like I said, the main focus for those types of people are often just supervision and companionship. Oftentimes the real service that we're providing is giving peace of mind to the family members that can't be with them all the time, to know that they're safe, and know they can stay in their own home where it is a familiar surround. That's why we named our company Familiar Surroundings. Our caregivers can do a lot of other things too while they're in the home. Things like simple things like meal preparation and light housekeeping, laundry and linen changes, things that kind of tend to fall by the wayside for people who they may not be the sharpest anymore, and they may not keep on top of the daily tasks that they need to do. And then beyond that, we can do things for some of my clients that have some mobility challenges. We can do things like assisting with dressing and bathing and grooming and oral hygiene, those types of things. We can help them, remind them to take their medications, which tends to get lost in the shuffle sometimes for people that are having memory issues. And then beyond that, we can do a lot of other things, such as providing transportation to doctor's appointments or to the grocery store, run errands. For my clients that can be left alone, we can do that for them. For my clients that can't be left alone, then we can do that with them. And it's good for the client too, sometimes, just to get out of the house and get that stimulation of being somewhere else. And I have a couple of clients that they like to do their exercises at the mall. So we give them a ride to the mall, and then we walk around the mall with them for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. And it's not even necessarily a shopping event. It's just getting them out of the house and getting them some different stimulation. And by far, that's not everything we do, but that in a nutshell is kind of the main things that we do for the majority of our clients.
Perfect. And originally I thought that I kind of found you late for mom and dad, since I got them into assisted living. And one of the things I was impressed about your company is that you kind of work outside the box. If there's a need that some companies might not provide, you work with the family, because dealing with dementia, I'm finding out every situation is pretty much unique, and the behaviors and things like that. And we do have a family friend who will take them to appointments, but when she's not available, you would do something as simple as you could drive them to appointments or check on things like that. Is that correct?
For sure, we do provide strictly transportation for clients in that situation, where we would, like you said, if you have a system in place where you're using family members or friends or something like that, but you get in a pinch, yes, we can certainly do strictly transportation. And we don't have the ability to do wheelchair or gurney transport, but for my clients that are mostly ambulatory, yeah, we can absolutely do that. Even back during COVID, there was times when we were running errands for people, like I said, either with them or for them. And we were running it as a transportation service, where we would, it would be a 2-hour service to go do what they needed. And that was all that they needed, was just the ride and somebody to be with them to keep them safe, so to speak. So we absolutely can do those one-off transportation trips and that sort of thing.
Perfect. And you brought something out up about taking the people for walks through the mall and things like that too, which kind of sparked my interest. And once again, they're in assisted living now, but beforehand, it and dealing with this all the time, even though they are where they are, it's constant phone calls every day, trying to work out between the confusion with staff and parents with dementia. I couldn't imagine having them at my house. Love them to death, couldn't imagine it. But
Right.
I'm sure there are probably times where people like that just might want to say, "Hey, you know what, on Friday nights I want to go out to dinner, and I can't leave them here alone. And you guys could come and sit with them for several hours on a Friday night or something like that." It's
Yep, absolutely. We call that respite care, and we do that quite often. It goes back to what I was saying earlier that oftentimes the ostensibly we're there for the client, but the people getting the most benefit are those family members that they need to have a little bit of peace of mind. They need to get out. They need to go do their own thing and recharge, because if they don't take care of themselves, they're not going to be much of a caregiver either if they start burning out. So we call it respite care. You can call it anti-burnout care. It's just basically to give the family caregiver a break. I just interviewed or assessed a client the other day, and that's literally all they want, as far as the hours that we spend with them. The one daughter, she works from home and she's fine taking care of mom, but every Wednesday she has to go to she has to go into the office, and every Friday she has an activity. So we are going to start doing 6 hours on Wednesdays and 3 hours on Fridays, just to give her the break for those times that she needs it.
perfect. And if someone becomes one of your clients, how far in advance do these things need to be planned? So if I was an existing client and something popped up, last minute for tonight or tomorrow morning, I mean, are there chances? I'm sure it depends on your staffing, but things that just pop up, or do you have people sometimes at least available that, hey, we can be there in a couple hours, or yeah, we can be there tomorrow morning or something like that?
So for those short-term types of or short notice types of things, I will absolutely promise to do my best.
Yeah.
But I won't absolutely promise that we can do it, on an emergency basis. We'll absolutely try. There's no doubt. We ask for 24 hours notice. And if you are an existing client, 24 hours notice, I can pretty much promise I'm going to get you somebody. Less than that, again, all I can promise is that I'm going to try. If you're not an existing client, I've started up care in an hour or two, even in somebody who's a brand new client, not an existing client. But real quick, the procedure for that is basically I meet with the client or the family or both, go over all the specifics of the care that they need. And I like to do it. It's not required that I do it in person if it is kind of an emergency thing. I prefer to do it in person because it helps me choose a caregiver that I think would be a good fit, personality wise, and that sort of thing. But then once you've gotten all of your questions answered and I've gotten all the information that I need, then we do the paperwork and get things rolling. I can usually do that same day, or like I said, sometimes in a pinch, we push things through. People are getting discharged from the hospital or from the rehab facility, and they didn't anticipate discharge. We can certainly speed things up like that if we absolutely need to. But yeah, that's the basic process: the initial assessment, the doing the paperwork, and then we move on to staffing. And we can usually do it pretty quick. I'm just not big on making promises I can't keep.
I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, we try and avoid those really short notice last minute things if we can. But I'll certainly try if it comes up. I know that was a really long-winded answer to a pretty simple
No,
question, but there you go.
no, it was great. And then it's you've also, for me, you've been a good resource because I did end up needing to hire you, and so I'm not actually a client, but you're the one that turned me on to Carrie Landrum, who helped us with the referrals. I put her website on previous videos, and it sounds like you want to be a resource to people in need, dealing with this sort of thing too. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That's my goal. Is I want to be a resource. I tell people all the time, even if you're not my client, if there's something I can do for you, if it's within my power, to either do it myself or find somebody who can. I'm happy to take those phone calls and try and put a plan together for people. Like I said, whether it directly involves me or not. That's why I make contact with people like Carrie Landrum and different industries. The senior assistance industry is huge, and there's all different types of resources, but most people don't know they exist until they're knee deep in trying to get it figured out. So if I can answer questions or guide people, I'm absolutely happy to do that.
Really appreciate it. And you're in California. Which counties do you cover?
We cover Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, Santa Cruz County, and Contra Costa County.
Okay, perfect. I really appreciate your time. I'll put your website up attached to this video as well. Anything else you wanted to add?
Just that if just real briefly, there's different types of agencies like mine, and we all look very similar on the surface. We're what's considered a full service agency, which means that my caregivers remain my employees, which means I'm responsible for background checks, payroll taxes, ongoing training, those sorts of things. There are agencies out there that will send you independent contractors, and that's not necessarily a bad way to go. But then you become responsible for all those things I just mentioned. So if somebody's listening and they're looking at other agencies and they want an honest answer about those types of questions, feel free to call me. I'm not a pushy sales guy. I'm happy to try, basically what I say is if it sounds too good to be true, give me a call. I'll give you an honest answer. And if it is too good to be true, and I think it is true, I'm going to tell you, even if it means I lose business. So I want people to get the care they need, and I want people to be comfortable with their decision making. So again, I'm happy to be a resource in any way I can.
Great. Thank you so much, Mike. I'll put your website on, and we will talk soon, brother.
Great. Thanks very much.
All right. Bye.